Welcome back to the Raw Uncovered Truth of the Awakened Soul with Nicole and Kristi. And we're just so very happy to be back. It's been a wild December and starting off with like a wild January. So I'm going to kick it off to Kristi and she's going to give you our angel message for today.
Hey guys, happy new year and happy first full moon of the year. There's a lot of stuff going on in the next couple of months, but I just want to get us started with the angel message. And I do apologize. I'm just getting over being very sick, so my voice is not quite there today. So just please bear with me during this podcast. The message for today that I received is a feather message, and it is of the blackbird. And the message from the angels is, have you ever really looked deep within your soul to unlock your true potential? These are not surface potentials or even things that you see around you. They are hidden, locked within your soul's compass, waiting to be unleashed. You may not even know these potentials exist. They can be hidden due to fear or stopping when the push is out of your comfort zone. This message calls you into the unseen realms to welcome mystery and magic, which is not in plain sight. Move beyond your usual limits. There you will find your hidden potentials. Allow yourself to push past ordinary boundaries. As you do so, you will open up new information and opportunities that await you. I really love this message going into the new year. And there's so many things that are going to be going on towards the end of January into February that is really going to either catapult us forward or make us relearn lessons. So I feel like we're really coming into this kind of do or die moment where we're either going to begin to move forward or we're going to have that pushback and we're going to have to start back from square one and rebuild all over again. How are you feeling about all this, Nicole?
I am hearing that, first of all, I love the angel message and can totally relate. And that's kind of like where my mindset was at anyway. I'm also feeling that, yeah. So as far as like February being the push pack, right, is like the people who aren't going to come and move into their divinity are going to fall off and have to like keep cycling until they feel like it, or I don't even know where they're headed, to be honest. I'm kind of
Right.
actually not focused on them. I'm kind of focused on how we're growing and like how much like the energy and like the, like we're stepping into our full divine feminine power, and watching the masculines. And I think watching the masculines are like, like coming into to their divinity is like even more, I don't know, mind blowing to me than like us coming into our divinity. 'Cause I don't know
Yeah.
why, but like it's like,
Yeah, well, I think it's because they're taking such a rapid push forward. I mean, the progress that they've made since I would say the end of November into like going into the new year has really jolted.
yeah. So I could speak from personal experience when I say the end of December was so rocky and I was being pushed into all of these things that I had to like really process and let go of because I was not allowed to take it into the new year. And I heard that as a collective that we were going to be thrown so many lessons right then and there and really big ones to let go because we were not allowed to take this energy into the new year. So I definitely, I was down and out, I was up and down, I was trying to release, I was all like discombobulated in my head and I was like, oh my God, but just keep focused, just keep going forward. So like I went through what you already went through. So, right. So here you still have the sore throat. I had it like all through Christmas. I was like, oh, I was
Horrible.
dying. I,
Horrible. I'm like, what do I have to clear? I thought this throat chakra was clearing and it just went through a whole nother cycle.
it's all about like the feminine power. And and just speaking our truth. So like if we're having any problems whatsoever about speaking our truth, that's when our throat chakra is gonna like, start and get crackly and whatever. We're also clearing for the collective also as well. So you have that going on. There was something else I wanted to say as far as like energy wise. Oh, I do know that you said about recalibrating, like, basically like this month and then February being like the fall off for everybody.
Right,
I do know that if we get hit, like the collective gets hit with a lesson, or we're not really clearing what we need to clear. So like your throat chakra is clear. So like what are we missing that's not need to be cleared? We're going to clear it and then restart ourselves at like 0 point. So we're
right.
starting from fresh again. So that I wanted to do. I also feel like the both of us have grown immensely because I did go back and watch some of the podcasts, and everything that we said was spot on, by the way. And I was like, yes. But like, not only was it spot on, it was like you could tell how we, like I'm watching us go into our true power, like where we belong. And I think like I said, I don't know what's more exciting, like watching us, like you and I, like take, like get into our full power here, or watching the masculines. Because, we've all been, I guess, operating, right? It's not, I guess, we've all been operating from like these dense programs and these limiting beliefs and all these just dense programming in
Right.
general. And like, of course, being the feminine, usually, right? It's not always, but usually you're the first one to awaken, you're more aware, you have the awareness, you have everything going for you. So it's easier for you to kind of process things, not easier, but it's easier for you to see the bigger
The
picture,
bigger picture.
right? And like be able to, recalibrate and what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my God, process out the energy. Yeah,
Yeah,
recalibrate.
process out the energy because
Yeah.
men, for most, I don't even want to say men, but just masculine energy in general, it's harder for them to use their intuition to process out the energy. They always want to see the meaning behind everything. So it takes them a little bit longer to process. So the fact that they have been processing so much more rapidly and going into their intuition is huge. They're almost stepping into the feminine aspect of their self.
Well, they're leaving their, I guess if you want to get technical, their dark masculinity. They're
Right.
dark, right, and they're stepping into
Right.
their
And they're stepping more into the light.
right, which is basically, where they should, I mean, we all should be in our light,
Right.
but yeah, them coming, um, them, I'm just gonna like push my phone away for a second. Yeah. Um, sorry.
Oh,
Uh,
don't be.
yeah, lost my total train of thought there. So, um, it's not, I get, well, yeah, it's the polarity and watching, the masculines come into union, but you are right. It is much more difficult for the masculines to come into the union by to themselves, to take the accountability, to have the awareness, to look inside, because if we thought that like us as feminines have been misconstrued, I guess would
Right.
be the word, right? And like all of this, like stuff has been falling on us as the feminines. It's even harder because the masculines are set in this like really societal belief that they cannot let go, and like, you know, um, they need to kind of be in their, alpha male, which is hard for them to figure out what the alpha male is while you're trying to awaken, or if you're fighting it at the same time. That make any sense, or was that like too quantum?
No, no, it made total sense. And I know it's like in depth, but if you want to even look at it just like in here on earth right now, right? Everything that's going on earth right now, all the negativity that's going on between, California, Asheville, everything going on earth, it's like the darkness is now showing, right? Everybody can see it because it's got to be cleared and transmuted into light. And in order to do so, it has got to show up. And if you look at the way the masculines, just like the way the 3D world is moving so rapidly, you can look at it in the same exact mindset, is that they're leaving the darkness to be able to move into the light. Just like I feel like here on earth, God is showing us all of this darkness that's been hidden for the last 10 to 20 years, bringing it into the light, transmuting it so that we can move into the light come, I believe, February 8th, which I feel marks a very important
Ooh,
time
you just threw
period.
out a date. Let me tell you. So, I mean, I know I've told you personally, but I'm going to say it on the podcast that Kristi's dates, for some reason, like Mark, I went back to, well, actually, she said, oh my, something happened really largely for me on 12/20. And then as of course, like I ran to Kristi and I'm like, oh my God, whatever. And she goes, oh, I said 12/20. And then like as I was going back, like watching the videos, she literally said 12/20 on the podcast. It was a date to look out for. So take that into consideration, guys. Like really like pinpoint her days of what she's talking about and write them down because I would not be surprised if something happens on February 8th. It's crazy.
So for me, I just wanted to add, for everybody, the collective listening, February 8th can mark a lot of different things. So it doesn't always mean like positive or negative. It's just a date that marks a change. So when I picked up February 8th, it's going to mark a change. It can mark a change within us, within somebody in our scope of family. It could be something happening here on earth. It can mean anything. So when I mark a date, just take it to what it can mean within your life. It doesn't have to mark some change within you per se, but something going on around you. And this is going to mark a change. That's what I feel. There's going to be a significant change on February 8th.
What I'm trying I will look at my phone for that. Just wanted to see like what day February 8th was. Oh, Saturday. Okay.
Saturday? Okay. I was like, it's either a Saturday. I think it's Saturday.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, let's do a podcast on that day. And then I was like, oh, it's a Saturday, so no.
I'll
There
be
goes
at lacrosse. I'll be at lacrosse all day.
yeah, sports to the fullest. Um about the world shifting and I think with everything happening in the world and what we kind of knew was going to happen come January is a lot of the destruction and a lot of the light coming in to rebuild that as well. And I think that's what we're seeing, the light kind of clearing, like all of the negative, stuff that's been gone, that's been going on. I think there's going to be a lot more of that. So I would say try not to watch the news and kind of stay in your own little bubble of alignment, and don't get too wrapped up in that stuff because, then it could affect you obviously in your energy and kind of just know that you're the one who's bringing the light. So keep that
Yeah,
part.
you have got to hold the light,
Yeah.
especially now. So listening to the news, that definitely it's darkened your light. So you have to keep a high vibration. So if you have to stay away from it to keep your high vibration, then that's what you need to do at this time. Because our collective is holding the light for positivity moving forward.
Speaking of the collective and holding the light and the positivity, I guarantee you that after this episode, your voice will probably feel a shit ton better because you're getting out all of the stuff that you've had like stuck in you that you've been wanting to like scream out to the
I
world.
hope so, because this is like so bad. And I know my voice normally, I have a lower key voice, but this is like, I'm like hurting right now.
I did hear something about our voices shifting. So if you are part of the collective where your voice is shifting, I so want to know that. And that's masculine and feminine. I don't really think it had any, but like I keep hearing like I don't know if it's our voices like spreading, like the truth or whatever that's radiating, that's vibrating on a different level or just the sound of our voice in general. But us, some of our voices will be shifting. So I was just curious. I don't know if mine has, but I mean like
I feel like yours is a lot clearer. I said that to you when we jumped in. I was
Oh, you
like, your
also said
voice
I was
seems
like
a lot
vibing.
more clearer, more vibrant. So hopefully next week I can join you there.
Also, right, we were talking about the full moon. So
Yeah.
guys, take advantage of this full moon today. And, obviously the energy is going to be with us probably until I would say Wednesday. Take advantage and kind of clear everything that needs to be released. And like, call in your guides, call in the archangels, call in anyone who you feel, is able to help you and like kind of clear out as much as you can. Um, I say this now, but I mean, the full moon hasn't like hit, but usually like I'm like full moon within the, days prior, but I am
Yeah.
like loving this full moon right now. I don't
Me too. I am too.
yes,
I
clear
feel like energized, but I think it's like kicking off the new year, like the energy of what's to come. It's very exciting because I do feel like, we got to get past a little bit more, but I do feel like, a couple more months and the energy is really going to change. And I think as a collective, we can really feel that. But I want to say that this full moon, I feel like is, getting rid of all of last year. Like, just
yes.
transmuting all of that energy from last year. So, my personal thing for the full moon is that I want to clear out everything. I'm not asking for anything right now, like moving forward. I just want to get rid of the past. So, the energy I'm moving forward is that I want to clear it all before the next full moon. And that's when I'll set my intuition, my intentions. That's
Yeah,
my
I,
plan.
I agree with you. You also had the 111 portal shift and you had the nodes that shifted too. So I mean, like you have a very big shift coming into this full moon, as well as it's the first full moon of the year, right? Almost
Yes.
positive. Yeah.
Yeah, the
So like
wolf moon, I believe it's the wolf moon.
it is the wolf moon. Um, so and they said it's going to be intense, like as far as it'll be around for like a couple of
Right.
days. Not that it's normally not, but whatever.
Well,
Uh,
I think it's interesting that it is the wolf moon. And going back to what I was talking about when we started the podcast with the angel message, is that the wolf, right? Think about the wolf in spirituality and how it will continue to appear until you clear energy, right? You got to clear the energy so you could start anew. And when the wolf, stops appearing, that means that the energy is clear. So the way I look at it is, think about things in your life. What keeps coming up for you? What keeps appearing? What do you need to clear? And then once you can clear that, you can move forward. And that's why I say clear what needs to be clear and set your intentions with the next full moon. Then it will be like the wolf dissipates and we can start anew. If that, if that makes sense in that realm, because I think it is all about, you know, taming the wolf.
yeah, I could agree with the taming of the wolf thing. It is. It's more about like, I mean, as divine feminines, we're the ones who will always, from my awareness anyway, are always going to be the ones that have to kind of clear out and transmute the majority of the energy, even when like you're with your divine masculine in union, or just in general the divine feminine. Once you step into your full power, or even when you're not, you're always the one who transmutes the energy. So yeah, I mean, like your personal energy, you'll know when that's clear, and you could use the wolf analogy, right? I mean, it won't show up anymore, but you're clearing as part of the collective, and that's your job. So there's always the clearing. But I mean, the transmuting of the energy, I guess, gets better and better all the time because you kind of get used to it and transmute it out. Um, I don't know why it's all about energy today. I like didn't like I thought we would be going in a totally different direction, but what else is new? Like,
It's always about the energy. I mean, you can't get away from the energy. We are energy, you know.
oh, that good point. Very good point. Um, I also wanted to, I mean, I know I spoke about this in like previous, I'm gonna kind of switch it up. I mean, energy related too, but about divine counterparts and divine unions in
Right.
2025 and it being like a very big significant thing. I'm gonna say it's going to be it's seriously going to if you're not feeling it already in January with your divine counterpart, you're definitely gonna feel it like probably after the full moon even more. Come February, I wouldn't be surprised if people are in union at the end of January, coming into February.
Well, speaking
Um,
of that, I got another date. And
oh,
it was Love and Relationships, February 23rd.
223. I'm actually writing this. I'm like, yeah, 223.
So I did get that. So just because you were talking about it, I just want to throw it out there.
Yeah, no, and that was like love and relationships. Okay. I'm cool. Okay, let's see. Um, yeah, so I wanted to bring that into to play. What I wanted to say is I don't know, there's so many things I want to say, but I know a lot of feminines are who are coming into union with divine counterparts have that fear of them walking back in and still being the version of them that you had to walk away from and leave. You kind of have to transmute that fear and you have to leave the room, like give them the space to be able to come back in and you know, show you, I guess would be the right terms, show you or you could feel the energy, change, but give them a chance. So like, give yourself a chance to see that as well. Don't block it with fear, kind of just let that go. Um, you know, it it's harder for them from what I'm getting is for them to come forward after being so dense and so stuck in where they were. Um, versus us who as women are more forgiving and more, based in our we do more heart action versus, the divine masculine was. Um you I'm going to say this right now, you have the choice whether to enter divine union with that counterpart or not. And 1000% mark my words, if you do not choose to enter a union in that particular divine counterpart situation, you will be awarded another, very high level soulmate, which I'm starting to see for myself. So I don't really know what's going on. I thought I knew what was going on, but total game changer here. So I don't, but that is not even my personal experience. I'm just saying that that's what's going on for the collective.
Right.
My personal experience is just all I don't even know. I was actually about to share my personal experience until things just shifted, a little while ago. So, and that's a whole other thing. And that's very huge game changer for January. Is things are shifting out of nowhere. Things that you're not expecting, real conversations, deep conversations, like finances, material things, just relationships in general, like everything is just like shifting out of nowhere
Yeah.
and it's not all bad, right? I mean, like some of it is like really positive, really uplifting, helping you process things, helping you end cycles. This is in 9 years, so cycles in general are going to close out, but January, I'm hearing, is a huge, like Kristi said in the beginning, February moving forward is going to kind of shift you as to if you're willing to do the work and you're moving, or you're just going to stay and kind of fall off because it's not like you're going down. It's just we're gonna kind of keep elevating.
Right.
And this is something I've been looking forward to since last year. So I'm like super
Yes.
excited about
Me
that.
too.
Super excited. But just be aware that and be able and be open to receiving all of these shifts because I could, firsthand tell you that they are coming out of nowhere.
They really are. And just be open to the fact that the shift might not, you know, start the way you want it to start. I mean, sometimes career, finances, even love, it could be like a little bit of a rocky start, not really knowing, what's going on. And it could be hard or feel heavy, but just keep working through it, pushing through it. Your intuition will guide you in the right direction, but it could be very positive on the other side, but just don't just don't like give up on everything because you're having some, awkward or uncomfortable moments through it. You've got to push through that in order to get to the good stuff as well. So it might not show up the way you want it to show up, but if it's showing up, it means that you might have to just work through it a little bit, and then it can show up on the other side the way you need it to. And you'll know what that looks like as you get closer. But just don't close it all out completely because, you started a career and maybe you're not as busy as you thought you were going to be. And then you just give up before you even try to put yourself out there more. No, continue to push forward, put yourself out there. Same thing with relationships. Something might come in, something might happen, but it could just be a lesson. So push through it, see where it goes, how it works out. Like Nicole said, I really do believe if you're ready for your soul counterpart, twin flame to come back in and work through things, then it's the time. But if not, I also agree that there might be a soul relationship waiting on the other side that suits you better at this time that will help you grow and level up on both ends for both people. Because I do believe that we are going to be given soul connections, whether they're romantic, friendships, career oriented, where we are going to also be helping that person along their journey as they show us different things we're missing within ourselves so we can also grow and level up.
Absolutely.
I'm, I'm sorry, that's like all I could get out at this moment. There's so much more I want to say, but I'm like losing my voice as I go.
Um, yeah, obviously, like, there are going to be people, and you're going to run into more awakened people that
Yes.
are going to mirror really good aspects at you, not the, dense triggers that you're used to anymore, unless you're unawakened and, you're in your kind of awakening.
Right. But I think we're going to see it differently through the eyes of these people. Like it might be things we need to work on, but it's going to be like subtly shown to us. It's not going to be like that, like, that moment where it hits you in the face and it's all this darkness and it brings up all these bad things within you. It's going to like show it to you and then push you to like heal it.
Heal it, or step into it.
Right. Exactly. Show you these aspects about you that you're missing that you didn't see.
Yeah. It's not going to be like a trigger where you have to kind of clear out the trauma, although there might be a trauma link to, why you're not, in that version of yourself, but it's going to be more of a positive outlook.
A
So like,
positive outlook of it.
yeah. So like, I could say, I'm going to give you an example, personally, is that I have this one divine masculine who I could just see the shift from, um, I would say November to now, like, the huge jump. And he's like really stepping into his divine masculine, which is again completely insane to see. And I would really love to get him on this podcast because I think
That would
like
be great. I would love to get
great person.
divine masculines. I would love to get some divine masculines. If we have any listening and you guys want to jump on too, please feel free. I love their perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the ones that are like rising like really fast and stepping into their power and their true purpose. I think it's a great perspective. But he brings out like the magnetizing that is so bizarre to me. Is that he reminds me of like that I'm a person. So not that I don't know that, right? But like I've been, dealing with spirituality forever, but like the awakening, or the raw awakening, I don't know what you want to call it. Like,
The raw awakening.
the more raw of the rawness of it. For like the past, I would say since 2020, but like even more intense in 2024, getting rid of everything. And like, and being a single mom at that, and being so much in my divine masculine, which I did have to, shift in 2024, definitely. He makes me, realize like, oh my God, I'm a person and I want to like go out and have fun and be in my divine femininity. So for some reason, he brings out that in me. So he makes me want to like shine as the divine feminine. And I can't explain how or why that is, but it makes me feel really like, oh, and then it kind of does make me sink into my divine femininity or my divine feminine and kind of, bring up all of the things that I do want to do and I as a divine feminine
Right.
and like in that power state and not, be in the divine masculine. So, you never know what people are going to bring, to your awareness. But that to me is amazing. And I guess I don't know if it's because he's a divine masculine and that's what they're mirroring, which I'm gonna say is a yes, because I'm sure we mirror the same aspect to those who want to awaken
Right.
too.
Yeah,
That was the point
no,
of
I agree. I
awakening.
think that he's showing you this light of yourself. He's mirroring this beautiful light
Yeah,
about you that, unfortunately, being a mom and working and having to do everything, you haven't been able to really show up as that beautiful, divine, fun, feminine. And he's mirroring back to you um, everything that he sees you as. And he
right.
sees you as that beautiful, feminine, that light, that, you know, that beautiful figure. And he's showing that to you. It's a part of you that's missing, and he's trying to show you like this is who you are. And you could feel it internally because it's true.
Get
It's
something straight though. Not to you, to whoever's watching. He's not physically showing me anything. Okay, so it's not,
no,
it's
not
not
that. Yes.
physically.
Good way.
It's
Yes, that's a good way to say it. Yes. He's
just
energetically,
but yeah, that's what he's magnetizing as energy.
yes. He's not
Um,
physically saying anything, showing you anything. It's the energy that he's propelling towards you.
right. Um, so you're gonna come in contact with a lot. I happen to spark divine masculines. Unfortunately, that's been part of my, I guess, soul purpose for a very long time. So, I mean, I'm kind of used to that aspect, but not everybody will mirror something back to you. It's just you kind of sparking that awakening in them and then for them to take off and do whatever it is that they choose to do with it. It's very interesting that, lately I have been getting, the mirrored back stuff and I'm like, "Whoa," like that's something I'm not used to, being that I'm usually the one reading the energy and kind of trying to
Right.
pull them up to where they're supposed to be. So it's been a different shift, I would say, since January. Well, since coming into, like, a little bit before, but, like, really
Yeah.
fully into January.
But that's the whole point. I think it's time for the masculines to kind of take that reign
It
and
is take the lead.
take the lead and show the feminine, now what they see.
Yeah. To have right. They're supposed to be in their divine masculine role, right? Which is the supporter. Which is the, on a financial aspect is also the supporter, but nowadays we also, we can make our own money and that's fine. It's more of they bring the support in, right? The protection in for you, the stability. They keep the feminine grounded in
In the
life,
feminine, yeah.
whereas we have more work to do in, those other realms. It's not even like the spiritual realm. I guess you could, classify it all, but like, we do more work in other realms versus the masculines more, do their work here and pull us to ground in the physical versus, us doing our work and we're doing it for them and, we're doing it for the collective and, that's just our thing. But those are the roles. So I think those were
Right.
always the original roles. And I think that's what's kind of coming in, to fruition now is that everybody's, taking back their power and knowing where they stand, So that's going to be interesting. It's just going to be interesting to see the divine counterparts that do come into union and the ripple effect. Because I think the ripple effect is going to be like off the charts.
I
But
agree with that. I think the ripple effects will be off the charts, and it's going to be interesting to see how many twin flames come into union. And then, of course, you have the real twins versus the like the
our mix.
yeah, the karmic twin. where people think it's a twin flame, but it's not. So that's all going to come out as well.
Can we touch on that? There really
Yeah,
is, and I could say this confidently, there is no such thing as a false twin flame. They're either your twin flame or they are not.
right. Well, that would be the karmic, right?
Yes.
The
Yeah.
karmic twin is what I mean. I call it the karmic twin because it's like a play on a twin flame, but it's not really the twin flame. Or or people say a soulmate is your twin flame. No, it is not. It's a completely different type of relationship, completely different.
Yeah. Us, I mean, and that's why I think whoever's not going to be it, listen, everybody has a purpose here, right? Not everybody comes in and signs a contract saying, "Oh, I'm gonna, come in on a twin flame journey." Not everybody does that. People come into this lifetime just wanting to be happy and be full of abundance and not have the lessons and just literally come and live a gorgeous life with a soulmate, and that's what they choose, and that's what they have. Also, if you are on a twin flame journey, does not mean, right, if that's the awakening you chose, that does not mean that you are meant to be in union with that twin flame as
Right.
well, going forward. I also have become aware recently, that if you wanted to get off the twin flame journey, all you have to do is ask your guides to say, I'm kind of done. I want off. I would just want to be with a soulmate and, be in a relationship and, a passionate relationship, reciprocity, whatever. And then your lessons you will have to learn, that you were supposed to learn with your twin, you will be learning by yourself. But you will be in a nice divine counterpart situation. You can remove yourself from the twin flame journey. Had I known that sooner, that would have been great. But here I am to, spread the awareness moving forward for everybody to know that now. You could also opt at whenever point that you want to jump back onto the twin flame journey if you are meant to be in union with that person. I know it sounds all chaotic and crazy, but there is literally no logic whatsoever to the twin flame journey. So if you're trying to like find a logical, scientifical, any type of explanation, there's none. So throw that all away and then
No,
you'll
there's
realize,
none.
right? Like
There's none. You hear so many people say, "Oh, there's this aspect and that aspect, and you have to go through this or go through that." Or another one that's huge is like age gaps and all this stuff. No, that's not true. Each twin flame journey is unique to the contract that they signed, and there's nothing that somebody else went through that you're going to definitely go through. There are similarities, but nothing's ever going to exactly be the same. So you have to use your intuition to say, is this the journey that I'm on? Is it not? Where is it leading me? And like Nicole said, at any point you could be in the journey, out the journey, and it's not going to always be about coming together with this person. It's about union within oneself for growth, spirituality growth, life growth in this lifetime, however you want to look at it. But just because you're on a twin flame journey doesn't mean that you're either with the twin flame or alone. There are so many soulmates out there for you, and there's so many people that can benefit you in so many ways in and off the twin flame journey. But the whole point of the twin flame journey is to show you who you really are. That's what it's really all about.
and that's the awakening that you will have, in other ways, in other forms, if you choose to get off that awakening. Like you'll
Right.
stay on that path, it just won't be as intensive an awakening. It'll be, a more smoother type because you won't be dealing, with the twin flame connection
Yeah.
itself.
But all those people out there that are selling these dreams to people saying like, "Oh, take my course and you'll get back with your twin flame and everything will be amazing." That's not true. Like you both have to do the work. You can't do work for somebody else. They have what's called free will, and if they don't do the work and they don't meet you halfway, then it's never going to work in this lifetime. And I think the whole point is to realize that you've got to do your work. And if they come in and meet you halfway, and you want to continue on the journey together, then wonderful. But you can't take some course and think that someone's going to show up for you. It doesn't
It's
work
you
that
showing
way.
up for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you can't I hate when people say, "Oh, take my course," and then this person will rapidly align with you because you're bringing in all their thoughts and fruitions and you're holding this for them. No, that's not true.
Um, you you do tend to hold space for your divine masculine for
Okay, holding space and trying to make somebody do something is
totally
completely
different.
different.
Totally different. Absolutely. I 1001% agree with you on that. And I think a lot of people get lost on that.
So
Yeah.
many people get lost. And it's just a matter of I've been there and I've got so lost. So lost. And I'm just wanting everybody to know that at the end of the day, it took a really long time to realize it. A good probably 8 years. But at the end of the day, I finally came to the point, like you, Nicole, where I realized that the journey is what you make it. It's not about the person, it's ultimately about you and your growth. So if I can help one person just by listening in and saying, continue to concentrate on yourself, hold space for that person, and continue to work on yourself and rapidly grow yourself, then you'll have more opportunities in the future to come back together with that person. But don't take all of your energy and concentrate on that person to meet you halfway because you're missing the whole entire journey.
The right. All your attention and focus should be on yourself. So
Right.
take all that power that you're trying to put on that person and kind of just pull it back onto you.
Yeah.
That is very important. I cannot stress that enough. Cannot stress that enough. Um, yeah. As far as programs go, listen, even if they say they have a huge success rate, that's all great. Then you know what that success rate equals? That equals that you were doing the work that you were supposed to on yourself. And surprisingly, divine masculine did the work on his end, which is very surprising sometimes. Now, I mean,
Right.
it was in the past. Now moving forward, the divine masculines are definitely like waking it up and stepping it up a notch. But that doesn't mean that the course did it. Like it's all about you. It's
It's all
literally
about you.
all about you.
You do it. And that's why I get so like aggravated when I listen to people like, oh, I'm the number one twin flame coach. No, you're not. The person doing the work is the number one twin flame coach, not you.
You. Us. Right.
Yeah.
So always remember you hold the power. You are number one. Nobody else is number one. You are. It's you. You are
Right.
oneness, you are wholeness. It's all about you. I wanted to double back with the that every twin flame journey is completely unique because it is.
Yes.
And again, you will have those similarities, but completely unique to you and your twin and your soul contract together. Not one person, even you, right? Even us as individuals have
No.
the same contract. We have similarities, but there's not one of us on this plane of existence right now that has the same agenda. Like let's say light workers, right? We're all here to spread the light and to raise awareness and bring us, be the new leaders and bring us up into a higher consciousness, right? We all have that in a similarity, but we all are working in different ways. So please do not get caught up in, oh well, this person has this happening in their journey and this is total difference. Total,
Yeah,
like
because
you
even within
are
each person, we go through different things in our life. We don't live the same life. So our twin flame is going to mirror back to us things that we have to, traumas that we have to clear within our life. My traumas are not the same as your traumas. Your traumas aren't the same as other people's traumas. But you know what does add up? What you've been through and what your twin flame has been through. That's why they mirror it back to you. They show you what you need to clear. And then you show them what they need to clear. And that's why the dynamic is so, harsh because you're you're showing the person the parts of you you don't want to see. So
and vice
that's
versa.
going to look differently for everybody.
Absolutely. And union on that aspect is going to flip that all around. So you're not going to be triggered by your twin. It's going to be more of a balance, coming into balance. And what I definitely am hearing is that there's going to be conversations that I think are even going to be mind blown to you if you are in divine union, with your counterpart, because they are going to be these deep seated, um, conversations that I don't think you ever thought that you were going to happen. And it's not anything to be uncomfortable with. And if you are uncomfortable, work through that. And that's, divine masculine and divine feminine. Um, Also wanted to touch on, yes, in every twin flame dynamic, there is always one who awakens first. Usually it is the feminine. That does not mean that that's always okay. That's just been the, rapid, and it's more based on whoever's leading into that polarity, actually, you would say. But normally it's the divine feminine who wakes up, and realizes what the fuck's going on before the
Right.
masculine does. And that could cause major separation when, you know, your counterpart defies all gravity to move forward and denies everything. That causes major, major separation. And coming back into union, if you do choose with them, is a lot of mesh of energy. And you could feel the energy shift, and you could feel like the
Right.
transmuting of all the energy and all the dynamics. And all I have to say is my advice to you is just keep transmuting, and just transmute the energy. Just send it up, send it to your guide, send it to wherever. Pull it in through like your sacral chakra, and like kind of just transmute it there. And like, I guess you could like stir it. I'm gonna say this, you need to read that book.
I
Stir it,
know. I gotta
kind
read
of
it.
bring it to your heart, and then kind of just push it back to the masculine, and give him all the heart energy, because he needs to be working out of his heart space, which I think we've all been leading them there, to
Right.
do anyway. um Also touching on the huge gaps of age. There could be huge gaps of age, there could be huge gaps in any which way. So it could be the masculine is extreme, and I'm talking about like there could be huge age gaps, between the masculine and the feminine, and then the feminine and the masculine, in either direction. Or there could be little to none.
Right.
So you can't go based on anything. You really have to sit with yourself and know, when you are on a twin flame journey. And it is not something to be like, "Oh my God, I'm on a twin flame journey about." It's not. It's your awakening. It's your personal life. It's not pretty. Although
No,
awakening
it's
in
not.
general is not pretty, but the twin flame awakening is the less prettier of any awakening that you could
Yes.
possibly awaken to.
Yeah, because you
That's
meet
that's
this
fact.
person, and it's like fireworks. And then it's like it settles in, and then it almost becomes like this obsession of figuring out why. It's like a rabbit hole. And then it leads you to more information to figure out, okay, it's not about this person, but it's just it's so many like shifts and pulls and positives and negatives. And then when you come out of it on the other side, it seems so heart-wrenching while you're in it, like when you're really in it at the beginning stages. And then when you come out of it on the other
It
side,
really, how about like in the middle? It's still heart-wrenching.
yeah, well, it is. Yeah. I mean, it's a process, right? But little by little you grow through the process. But then like when you come from a certain place after so long, then you can start to realize like the blessing in the pain.
You say that, the look that you say that with is comical in itself. It
It's the
is a blessing.
blessing in the
It
pain,
is a blessing. It's a huge blessing.
within the
Because
pain. And
it
don't forget that part.
the
But
pain.
it really is. And you do see it. I mean, I've seen it.
Yeah, you
I
you
grew
do see it because
dramatically.
you realize that you were the one who transmuted all that pain, because that's what it's supposed to bring, right? You're supposed to transmute all that pain into power.
Right. And if
And
I didn't meet him, for me personally, on my journey, if I didn't meet him, I would never have known how spiritually aligned I am, because he brought that all out of me. For me, before that, it didn't exist. The telepathy, the telepathic conversation. I never experienced that before. I never experienced spirituality really on that level. So, I mean, my awakening happened when I met my twin flame.
So that was huge for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always like I was actually talking to my guides the other day, like one-on-ones. We were having like our little, personal
Q&A.
yeah, like our meeting time. Because I was like, I can't like I was pretty, solidly in tuned, right? I mean, like I was always had the mediumship skills. I always had a ton of on point intuition. Like my intuition was always on
Yes.
point. I was clearing before I met my twin flame. I was spiritually aligned, so I thought, because I had all these things going on, like I could tell you where your keys were if you lost your keys. I could like I could do I was able to do a lot. So what he brought in is the awareness of like an intense divine counterpart, which I kind of always knew was there because I was well aware of soulmates and I had so many walk in and out of my life. It was, ridiculous. But the difference between the soulmate and the twin flame is phenomenal. Like,
It's
it's my,
phenomenal. It really is.
yeah. And all it did was it was spark in me the ego death. Which I wasn't really so huge into my ego to begin with, but like ego death as far as like having to be the leader in the relationship, like all that kind of just like had to crumble and fall. Being in my divine masculine had to eventually crumble and fall. It took like 2 years into my twin flame journey, but like or three, but like all of that had to crumble and fall. So like he made the awareness that I was right about deep, connections. That I like really like got off. I was like, oh, I was right about that. He also triggered all of the trauma wounds in me, which
Right.
no one did. I shouldn't say no one. I mean, every soulmate that walked into my life brought something with me. The one soulmate before the twin flame brought in the past life regression that I've learned to do on myself, and I was floating everywhere, and I had to learn how to maintain that myself, which was
Right.
very interesting. But like every soulmate that stepped into my life brought in something. That's why I was like, oh, like on the twin flame journey, I literally like had to go deep, deep, deep within, even though I thought I went deep within. I had to go even deeper and really like pull out that childhood trauma and those abandonment wounds and all the fear and living in those chronic cycling, patterns that I was in, as a child. And that was huge, and that was clearing me out, and it definitely brought me on, like I was always vibing at, so I thought, a high level, but I mean, we were what in the middle because we could still feel, like all the negative, but it brought me to an even more, higher perspective
Right.
of a level. So like every, journey is completely different. And again, I still hold space. We actually like it's up to you, right? At this point when there's so much when there's so much distance and time in between. So like you as the feminine have the option to re-enter into this because you are the creator of your own life here. You have to remember that. You have the option to, like re-enter into this contract, which yeah, I'm still on the fence about, to be honest. I don't know which way I'm going. But he did come back in, took accountability for a lot of stuff. And there was that aspect. And after 13 months of nothing,
Right.
a lot of nasty dreams or visions that I had throughout those 13 months. But again, it's your decision. And if you're fully into your feminine power, to hold your stance as to where you want to be, but you have to let down all of that fear of if it's going to happen again, because you kind of have to,
Right.
start from zero, from point
From
zero.
zero and go from the beginning. And that's, that's obviously a scary thing because of everything in the past. And you want to give this person a chance and you want them to, take credibility for their actions. And you want to see that they've changed, but to let them in to attempt to see where it goes is a scary thought. and some women are ready to do it and some aren't. But I think that as that person, you can feel it in your heart and you know if it's timing or not.
Right. Yeah. I agree. And I am not the one to talk about twin flames. I actually kind of always leave it to Kristi. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this is like, it's totally in my wheelhouse. It's just so uncomfortable for me to
Right.
speak about, always has been. And like what I told you, right, from like January, I have been like pushed, especially last week, to talk about it, like, and to really bring like the awareness out, which again, I kind of want nothing to do, to do with. And I'm kind of being guided, to raise the awareness of what is
Yeah,
going which actually feels really good to talk about. I was like,
it
like
does.
really, like, but
It does feel
we've
good.
done
Even
that for
me,
so long,
like,
you know.
yeah, even me, I'll talk about the points of the twin flame relationship and like little dribs and drabs on my journey, but it is definitely hard for me to dive deep into my personal journey and talk about it without having that feeling as well.
See, like I think I'm great now. I'm like, yeah, give it to me. Anybody have questions? I'm here. Like I got this. I
Anybody
got
have questions?
also rewrites to soul contracts that are in twin flame relationships or dynamics. Very rare. I was one of the chosen, not chosen, it kind of actually happened, where the rewrites had to happen. So I was in union, or as you, I guess that's how you define it, right? I mean, I was with my twin flame. It was to the point where, and I could tell you exactly where my guides told me to get the fuck out. And literally in that, it wasn't just one guide, it was two of them at the same time with this deep voice saying, get the fuck out. Now it's time to go. You could tell when he leaned into that dark masculine energy
Right,
and that he was not going to budge, even though he was on, coming on the up and up. He totally stopped. He put his ego, he put his fear, he put everything he could possibly put, and he totally jumped into his free will and moved nowhere. That was not the plan. And I could tell you that because, well, I already knew that that wasn't the plan because I was always shown
right.
the plan ahead. I always had that vision. Even before him, I always knew um that stopped and my guides were kind of, and I felt them scrambling, like they were like, oh, like let's wow, like what are we doing, and they waited, and they waited a while for him to see if he would readjust and to readjust. And like I said, I could tell you that one moment where they did, and the day, the second, the minute, the second, whatever, where it happened, where his soul went so dark that they were like, that's it, get the
Right.
fuck out, you're done. And that was the rewrite. And that's where I had to finish all my, my twin flame journey on my own. So all of that and the way that everything was supposed to process and how hard it was, I was supposed to be doing it. We were supposed to be doing it as a team, and I ended up doing it solo. Very weird to
It
talk about.
needed to be that way though.
No,
Like
I
it
know.
needed to
I
be
mean,
that way
it was that way.
because he would have never been able to do his work
Yeah.
if you kept doing it for him.
Yeah.
So your angels are like, it's time to get the fuck out because if
It
you
doesn't
don't
even matter.
get
He wasn't
out,
even there.
right, like
Just
he had to hit rock bottom in
right.
order to be able to grow.
Right.
And you there was nothing more you could do. You had to protect yourself at that point.
Oh
And I
yeah.
got it. I've been there. I've gone through the same thing. And there was nothing more I could do and I had to protect myself. So I had to, move on and do what I had to do to protect myself while my person was going through, their demons.
Right. It's not even a dark night of the soul. It's the demons.
It's the demons.
God. And that take control, and it's your ego, it's your fear, and then that's where you stay stuck in that. So
Yeah.
it is a thing. So yes, obviously everyone separates in a twin flame dynamic because at one point, to recalibrate yourselves and then come back into union, right? And then you're supposed to work gradually from there because you're always evolving, you're always this. I had that separation and we had union, and then it got ripped apart because it was one of us was counterproductive.
Right.
That's how that goes. Again, very rare, but there may be a handful of people out there that can relate to that situation as well. Not the same, obviously, aspect, but I've been told that there have been many rewrites lately because the masculines are so stuck in their dense energy. Not to say that that person cannot evolve and come up to your level later. Everyone, and I mean every single person, has the ability to reach you on a higher timeline.
Yes.
Don't always, or I wouldn't say always, don't ever like lose the focus on yourself and your own power and building into your, stepping into your feminine, power, because that's where it's at. It's about you. It's not about anybody else. I mean, we are meant to be in union, and like everyone, a soul, especially a light worker, is here to meant to be in union, because you need, again, that masculine to keep you grounded in the physical while you do all that work, in
Right.
often other realms. But it is what it is.
Right. And all you can do is hold the space. Just hold the space and and see how things play out. And also women listening in, um, just because we're saying, contracts are being rewrited doesn't mean that we're talking about, the masculine opening up rapidly does not mean that, you have to go and send the text message and say,
Oh yeah,
oh,
no, no,
hey,
no.
I heard your, no, I know that's what I'm saying. Cause there's so many women
Stay in
out
your
there.
power. Please stay in your power.
Stay in your power. Don't do that. Let them come to you. But I'm just saying there's so many women out there that will take it as that, but that's
Right.
not what we're saying.
Woo, like it's a positive. It's not a positive. Well, it is, I guess, a
It's a
positive on.
positive, but it's not a positive for you to make movement.
No, no, no,
It's a
no.
positive for you to stay doing what you're doing and let them come to you because they need to come to us this time.
Yeah,
It's very important.
very, actually, very important.
Yes.
You really have to stress that. There is no, oh, I'm just going to reach out and say something. No, 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 no. You're still in that, no.
Yeah, no, because you're in that mindset where if I reach out and say something, I'm going to pull them back in. You don't want to be the one to pull them in. Let them
There's no
come in
pulling.
on their own. Right.
Right. There's no pulling. People, there is no pulling. There's the receiving. There's the receiving. There is sitting back and receiving. There is no forcing. There is nothing. And if you catch yourself, even I mean, I just caught myself last week, and it wasn't even a like a big thing, but I caught myself going, oh, like, pushing for some, and then I was like, oh, and it may not have come off pushy, but like I caught myself like going back down the line. I was like, nope, slowly, caught that. And again, I went from, started at 0 point. I must have started, what are we, January 13th? Not that time is anything anyway, but like I just in January alone, I must have like went back to like 0 point of starting. I can't even tell you how many times. Definitely more than 13. I can guarantee you that. But it's, just be aware of what is
Right.
going on. And just go with the shifts. Don't
Right. Just
hold on, don't cling on, don't push, don't force. You don't want that. That's why your entire relationship crumbled to begin with,
right.
because that's not the foundation you want it built on. You want it built on a solid, extremely solid foundation. Don't make excuses for yourself. Don't make excuses for him. If you are making excuses, then you need to do more work on yourself,
I agree. I
because you
agree
should not be
100%.
happy. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Do you want to kind of end it now and we'll pick up, or do you have anything else to say?
No, I think I was actually feeling like we really covered everything today. I think this was a great conversation. We talked a lot about a lot of different topics, energy, twin flames. So I think this is a great point of stopping for the day.
Okay. That's a wrap. All right, guys. So we will see you. I think we're going to try to shoot for 2 this week to make up for last week. And then we'll obviously be back next week and weekly for now on. So
Yes,
peace out,
I
guys.
have to stay healthy. I got to stay healthy. But thanks for tuning in to the Raw Truth of the Awakened Soul with Kristi Nicole. And we will catch you guys next time. And just want to say a little prayer for California and Asheville. We're thinking about you guys and we're with you. We'll be sending you lots of love and light. Thanks so much. Have a great day.